Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. This morning, hear what I gotta say this morning. The topic is betrayal as a compulsive disorder. Betrayal as a compulsive disorder. So, what does it mean to betray someone? It means to be disloyal, double dealing, deceptive. So, it is deception and it's false. Please note that the Creator did not create anyone in falsity. He does not make counterfeit or anyone or anything false. If you find yourself in a position of falsity, please take off your mask. I did not say take off your makeup. I said take off your mask. Betrayers have no idea that they are people who can see them from a distance. And even before they plan to betray, someone can see them. And there are times when they believe that no one sees them because they will say, no one sees me. In Isaiah 47, verse 10, it reads, "You felt secure in your wickedness. No one sees me, you said." Hmm. No one sees me, you said. But your wisdom and knowledge have led you astray. And you said, I am the only, the one and only, and there is no other. Well, don't you think Jesus knew that Judas would betray him before he betrayed him? Before the betrayal took place? He knew. Hear this. In John 13, verse 18 to 29, he says, I do not speak concerning all of you. I know who I have chosen. I know whom I have chosen. But that the scripture may be fulfilled, he who eats with me has lifted up his heel against me. Verse 19 says, no, I tell you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Verse 20, most assuredly, I say to you, he who receives whomever I send receives me, and he who receives me receives he who sent me. Okay? So when we're acting as if we don't want to receive people and we think, people are not being spoken to, or, you know, God didn't send them, be careful because you don't know who he sent. What we can do is to judge based on the discerning of spirit gift that we have, and we know when people are speaking through people. Okay, so we do know that. Okay, so verse 21, when Jesus had said these things, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, most assuredly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. What does that say? That tells me that he knew that somebody was going to betray him. And don't think he didn't know who it is, because he said, I know whom I've chosen. So if you know the people around you, right, you know who's going to betray you. You know exactly who's going to do it because you know the people. Verse 22 says, then the disciples looked at one another, perplexed about whom he spoke. So they were trying to figure out, who is he talking about? We don't know who he's talking about. They didn't know, but he knew exactly who was doing it, or who was going to do it. I'm going to call some names, and I'm really going to call the names, okay? Jennifer King from Donnie McClurkin's church came and betrayed me. That's a true thing. She ate with me in the house, okay? And she placed listening device and camera in the house in Windsor. This is no joke. I'm not making up a story. This is true, right? Donnie McClurkin was in the house. How did he get in? At the previous house. somewhere we lived before. How did he get in? That somebody could actually say, get out of the people's bedroom. How did he get in? Okay? So this is like this is basically almost 20 years of these people doing this. How can you do something like this to someone for so long? And thinking that they're stupid and they're not going to pick up what's going on. So you keep on doing it over and over. A betrayer, if the betrayer is left without punishment, that betrayer is going to keep betraying. Okay? Marvin Winans was watching me in the house. He was. I was at his church. I was a member of the church. And he was watching me in the house. He didn't tell me he was watching, but I investigated and I listened, I researched, and I listened and I found out. Okay? What would you call them? They're betrayers and deceivers. Good. So this is a real life story. These are people who hurt me. And so when I talk about the betrayers and the deceivers, I'm not making up a story. I'm just saying people can do these things to people and don't expect them to pick up, don't expect them to know what they're doing, and they expect to keep on doing it. You have to understand that you hurt people when you do things like these. So what would you say to your betrayers and deceivers if you found out who they were? What would you say to them? The answer is found in Proverbs 6, verse 31. But if he is caught, he must pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he has to sell everything in his house. That's the New Living Translation. Even if he has to sell everything in his house, he must pay back 7 times what he stole. Deceivers do not come for nothing. They come to deceive, betray, destroy, steal, separate, and kill if they are allowed to. Please let me know what you would do with these individuals when you catch them. Because the scripture is clear. And in Jeremiah 51, it tells us that Babylon will be caught. Babylon, the betrayer, the deceiver, the defiler, who would be watching you in your house through listening device and camera, and they're not defiling you. If you don't know that they're doing it, they're watching you naked and you don't know. You don't know. You suspect, but you don't want to say anything until you have concrete evidence. So the point is, Babylon is already caught, but they refuse to pay back. According to verse 44, Jeremiah 51, verse 44, therefore make them vomit up what they have swallowed. Here is the warning. Come out of her. Come out of Babylon. Run from Babylon. Run for your lives. Run from Babylon because judgment is still coming against Babylon. Still happening. Remember that a compulsive disorder is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. That's what it is. This is repetitive behavior. And I remember learning this in psychology, right? So I did study psychology at college level and university level. It is repetitive behavior that cannot be controlled. In psychology, it is defined as a mental disorder in which people experience unwanted and repetitive feeling, thoughts, images, sensations, and behaviors. Okay? If this is left, so I got that from my psychology book. Okay, so that's my point of reference right there. If this is left untreated, these people will lack the ability to perform at work, at school, at home, in church, in the community, in business, among people. It affects more than 2% of people in the United States of America, more than 2% of adults in the United States of America, and less than that in Canada. So in Canada, it's about 1% of people that are affected by OCD. I know for sure that there are companies in the country that I live, there are that's in Canada. There are people, I know that there are companies for sure that offers employee assistance programs because I know I received it in my employments. That's EAP program, so that employees may seek help with their issues. So I know that there are companies that offer those programs, right? But note this, the betrayers come to betray me. This is my personal experience. And I found out their issues and that they have mental problems. So they would like to call you mental, mentally inflicted, but they are the ones. So be careful when you dig a pit, because when you dig the pit, you will fall in it. And be careful when you set the trap, because you set the trap, you can get caught in it. Deneen Carter, that's Marvin Winans' wife, she was writing reports on me. I would sit there in the car in the churchyard and she would be writing stuff. They're writing reports. They come over, back and forth over from US to Canada, and they're whatever they say they're doing. They think they're trying to trap me, but they already trapped themselves. I would like to say I'm giving them a warning that they should cease and desist. Cease and desist. The same thing with Marvin Sapp. The same thing with Hillary French. Cease and desist. The same thing with Chris Ocleomi and Diola Phillips. Cease and desist. I'm giving you the warning today because I was told to give you the warning. Take it up with God. If you don't understand it or if you don't believe it, you know exactly what you have done and you know exactly what you're doing. When you break up a marriage and when you destroy people's families and destroy people's lives and come and bring separation, remember, and bring division, remember, God holds you responsible. You are held accountable. The betrayers come to betray me and I found out that they have mental problems that they refuse to admit, but they blame other people. You want to blame me? I'm cognitively safe. I have no cognitive impairment. I have no delusional problems. I have no mental problems. I have no physical disability. I was in a motor vehicle accident and God healed me. And now he's using me to transform people's lives. Today is PhD mentoring. PhDs would not have me mentoring them if I was cognitively impaired. And to have so many PhDs who depend on me for mentoring. If I had issues, there are so many psychiatrists that we have in the PhD mentoring sessions on Tuesdays. And if I was, they would have called me out already. Be careful when you judge people. Be careful when what you write in notes in order to make money. Be careful how you try to mess with people's reputation. When your reputation is at stake, be careful what you dish out to people. Be careful. Be very careful. So here is my challenge to you. Check yourself before you start trying to diagnose someone. Check yourselves. Be careful when you decide to betray people because you may not know who it is that you're betraying. You're betraying somebody who can see ahead of what you're doing, But just because you don't know the gifts that are in people, you judge them. Be careful how you judge people. Be careful. This is the warning. Be careful how you judge people. Be careful how you try to mess with somebody's names before you check yourself. Because you might be messing with someone who knows exactly what you're doing, because there's a gift, according to Ephesians 4, gift of discerning of spirits. Be careful. Be careful how you judge people. Because you dug the pit and you fell in it. You set the trap, you get caught in it. I am very observant. I've done research for years, legal research. And don't you mess with someone who's a researcher, because they'll find whatever they need to find. Be careful how you try to mess with somebody's life and don't check yours. Be careful how you block up people's jobs and people's businesses just to make money, just to build a church. Be careful. Because Isaiah 66 verse 1 says, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. What kind of house can you build for me? What kind of house can you build when you're telling lies on someone to build it? That's not for God. Be careful. So this is my warning that I got this morning to release, and so I release it. If you have issues, take it up with God. I just delivered what I was told to. You can't tell someone that they can't do what God tells them to do, because you are not responsible for what you did not appoint and anoint. If you didn't appoint and anoint, you are not responsible for that. They said they didn't see us. Well, we see you coming on trains and we see you coming on planes. We've been observing. Be careful. Okay? Be blessed today. Be blessed. The PhDs are watching this morning and they're listening. And I'm so happy that, they wanted to listen. They motivate me as much as I motivate them. But everybody else, just keep going up, because we're getting to the other side. Okay? Have a wonderful day today. Have a great day today. Be blessed.